Warning: the following video contains disturbing material that may be inappropriate for younger viewers. Parental discretion is advised. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to the month of October serial killer-thon. And on day 7, I give you Charles Cullen. Also, by now you know that YouTube won't monetize my videos because of the content. So I need your help to share, like the video if you like it. If you don't, let me know in the comments below what I can do to make it better. And subscribe, because I see that only 2.2% of you are subscribed. Now, with that all being said, here's Charles Cullen. Roll that intro. The unusual cliche about serial killers is how normal they seem to be before their ghastly secrets are uncovered. Not so Charles Cullen. Few people could have appeared more out of step with their surroundings. Charles Cullen worked for 16 years at hospitals in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, during which, at the time, he admitted to killing as many as 40 patients. But this was just the tip of the iceberg. Police suspected he could have killed by drug overdose as many as 400 elderly patients, which would make him the worst serial killer ever in North America. But due to the lack of evidence, this figure may never be confirmed. Charles Cullen was a shy and unhappy child, the youngest of 8 children. He was born in West Orange, New Jersey, on February 22nd, 1960. His father, a bus driver, died when he was only 7 months old, and 2 of his siblings passed away while he was still young. The danger signs were there from an early age. When he was 9, he tried taking his own life by swallowing the contents of a chemistry set. Later, he told police he tried taking his own life again on 20 separate occasions. In the 5th grade, he revealed the depth of his adolescence angst with an unpublished book called Infinity Years We'll Never Know, about growing up in a world devoid of meaning, and began compulsively reading and rereading Crime and Punishment, which details the mental torment of a student who commits murder. At age 17, he suffered a crushing blow when his mother was killed in a car crash. Cullen's behavior became increasingly off-kilter. Bullied at school, he went to a party and laced his tormentor's drink with rat poison. It was a practice run for what was to follow. Dropping out of high school, Cullen joined the U.S. Navy in April 1978, enlisting as a ballistic missile technician. He came through the psychological test for submariners with flying colors, and was assigned to a Poseidon missile unit on board a nuclear submarine, the USS Woodrow Wilson. Here, he was given the nickname Fishbelly White due to his deathly paler complexion. His bunkmate acknowledged Cullen had no friends. Charlie hung out with Charlie, and he kept saying he wanted to become a nurse because he liked helping people. One day, Cullen was discovered by his crew members at the missile control panel of the nuclear submarine, wearing a green surgical gown, surgical mask, and latex gloves from the ship's medical cabinet. He was transferred to the USS Canopus and discharged from the Navy in March 1984 after another suicide attempt. He was now free to follow his morbid medical bent. He gained a degree from the Mountainside School of Nursing, which he left in 1987. The same year, he began his first nursing job at the St. Barnabas Medical Center. A colleague recalled his inability to deal with normal socializations. You'd ask him, "Are you married?" or something like that, and he would give one-word answers. In 1988, he killed for the first time. His victim was 72-year-old Judge John Yango, who was injected with a drug called lidocaine. The death was reported in the newspaper at the time as being a case of Steven Johnson syndrome, a rare allergic reaction. In 1992, Cullen was fired promptly for randomly contaminating bags of intravenous fluid with insulin. No one seems to be quite sure. Due to the shortage of nurses and the fact that for legal reasons, honest work appeals were seldom passed on between medical companies, Cullen never had trouble finding work. Over the next 11 years, he had 9 separate jobs. Like many angels of mercy, he discovered his taste for working graveyard shifts and cardiac and intensive care wards, where he was left without supervision and where people died all the time. The atmosphere of trust in hospitals allowed him plenty of leeway. In 1993, his estranged wife filed for a restraining order against him. She claimed he had spiked drinks with lighter fluid and left his daughters at the babysitters for weeks, and showed cruelty to their Yorkshire Terriers, zipping one up in a bowling bag. His debt mounted steadily as he took to drinking, and his life fell apart. Psychologists say Cullen killed to relieve stress, and this does seem to be borne out of facts. Accused of domestic violence, he murdered 3 elderly women by giving them overdose of heart medication. He faced a lie detector test to show he had not neglected his children or abused alcohol in their presence. He also would go on to kill 85-year-old Mary Natali. After a social worker recommended all visits to his children be supervised, he killed 91-year-old Helen Dean, who was recovering from surgery of colon cancer. Her son Larry recalled a thin nurse entering the room and telling him to leave. Larry returned to his mother and said, "He stuck me," and showed an injection spot in her thigh. The next day, she grew very ill and passed away. Cullen's behavior grew more bizarre. Neighbors talked about him chasing cats down the street at dead hours of the night, muttering to himself and making faces. He harassed and stalked a fellow nurse when she turned down his offer for an engagement ring after just one date. Cullen aroused suspicion. He was fired from one for stealing vials of medicine. At St. Luke's Hospital, Bethlehem in Pennsylvania, a group of nurses reported their suspicion that Cullen had been using drugs to kill patients. The case was later dropped. At Somerset Medical Center, computer records showed Cullen was accessing the records of patients he was not assigned to, as well as requesting medications that patient had not been prescribed. When King Young Hang, a 40-year-old cancer patient, went into cardiac arrest, doctors were surprised to find high levels of digoxin in her system, despite the fact that she had been taken off the drug. Cullen was fired from Somerset on October 31st, 2003, for falsifying his job application, but he was kept under surveillance. On December 12th, he was arrested for the charge of the murder of Father Florian Gale, a 68-year-old Roman Catholic priest who died from a digoxin overdose, as well as the attempted murder on Han. The floodgates opened and Cullen confessed to a catalog of murders, but not to all of them, since he had blocked most of the fatalities from his memory, or so he said. On March 2nd, 2006, Cullen was sentenced to 11 consecutive life sentences for the murder of 22 and the attempted murder of 3 in New Jersey. This will make him eligible for parole after 397 years in jail. That's all the time we have for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on who you think the next serial killer is going to be for tomorrow. You can follow me on Twitter or reach out to me there also. And I also have a Twitch channel where I'm going to start gaming a lot more. I'll leave a link in the description down below for both of those. Until next time, guys. Sweet dreams.